Jay Bills from Media Spotlight UK, and I'm happy to say I'm reunited with the one and only Amber O'Donnell, making her influencer boxing return to the ring. It's been a long time. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now, more the better. Now you're here.
Oh,
We've always had our great chats. I think the last time I saw you was in the Kingpin tournament.
hmm
And there's been a lot to cover since then. But firstly, before we get into it, I noticed that you went to Italy recently, if I'm right. How was that for you?
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, I went for a wedding and stayed for a few days beforehand as well. And it was amazing. I've never been before, but it was super, super good. But obviously, I am in camp, so I was a little bit restricted on what I could eat, which was really interesting.
Yeah,
Because obviously, when you hear Italy, you just think like pizza, wine, spaghetti, and
and you couldn't
puddings
have
and
any of
stuff.
that.
And I mean, I did indulge on the odd night, but I had to like pay for it the next day when I was doing hill
Oh,
sprints every morning at 7 a.m. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go back at some point so I can do it properly. But it was still a really great experience, and it was a really nice break, like just to set me up for my fight.
and also I got to congratulate you on the fact that the worm you did as well. I was impressed by that. I mean, talk to me how that came. I was like, okay, you
The
got okay. So the end result to that.
worm. Bearing in mind, this was nearly 10 days ago. My knees are still battered from that.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm a dancer. So when I
Okay.
was younger, I from being literally 4 till I think 18, I was a dancer. So the worm is like one of those secret weapons that I always have in my pocket. And then when someone challenges me to a dance off, I'm like, right,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my
You
time
you
to
can't you can't
shine.
you can't challenge me and go like me go no. Are you mad?
Yeah, so me and one of my friends, he actually said, he was like, can you do the worm? And I was like, yeah, of course I can. And he was like, right, I can do the worm better than you. And I was like, let's go. And that's where the video came from. But yeah,
Okay.
I paid for it the day after. It didn't feel like it hurt at the time. And then the next morning when I was in bed, I kind of woke up, put my legs to the side of the bed to stand up, and I was like, oh my god, I can't bend my knees. And then when I looked down, they were black, and I was like, good god, maybe that floor was a bit harder than I thought it was.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, just with the dancing element, has that helped you in terms of learning the traits of boxing? Because I guess they go hand in hand.
I mean, yeah, they do definitely go hand in hand. It's definitely helped with things like footwork and just general movement in the ring. I think I pick up fairly easily now because I do have that dancing background. But you're right, they do go hand in hand, and I think it definitely gives me a leg up.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of that that's coming with your fight against Brooklyn Barwick for next
Yeah.
week. I mean, talk to me because I mean, there seems to be a lot of beef between the two of you already. I mean, before the fight was even announced, you were, getting at each other. Because I know that your last two opponents, there's a lot of respect between the two. So obviously, your fight
Yeah.
with Emily Brooke and then obviously Whitney Johns. In this case, is a bit different. So, I mean, how did we end up here?
So yeah, like with my fight with Emily and Whitney, me and Emily were kind of the entire underdogs of the Kingpin tournament. Like out of everybody when we first started, we had the least followers. So when we
Mm,
got matched together, we did have like a private conversation and say like, we really need to sell this fight. So, we planned like the portion and things like that. And the beef was a little bit scripted. And then obviously me and Whitney were really great friends, and there wasn't any, faking of the beef there. We tried to go a different direction to sell our fight. But me and Brooklyn, it's weird because I genuinely think she thinks it's selling the fight,
mm,
but prior to being matched with her, I already knew who she was because of things that she's done with like she's like faked a pregnancy and stuff. So I knew her from that. So
mm.
she went quite viral within this boxing scene for faking a pregnancy. So I did know who she was, and obviously grow to dislike her way before I even knew she boxed. But yeah, so when we got matched together, she was saying to my manager like, we should really try and fake some beef and sell this fight. And I was a bit like, there's no faking required on my half, because I genuinely don't have respect for her, and that is the God's honest truth. There's fights that you see where the beef is faked, and there's fights that you see where the beef is real. And on my end this time, it's definitely real. I don't condone her behavior. I don't condone the things that she's done, the things that she said. She's been very, racist, Islamophobic. She's rude to like disabled people and disabilities and stuff. But yeah, and obviously the faking of the pregnancy. Like I don't agree with those things, and for that reason, I just dislike her. I think she, like I said, might think that this is all a bit, they're just selling the fight. But I genuinely have a dislike for this girl, so it's going to be really fun to get to punch her in the face, like, just to say it bluntly. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it's been a bit of a rough build up, to be fair, this one.
So because I mean, it seems clearly that you don't really like the girl. So how is that energy going to be different in terms of the training to lead up to this? Because obviously the last two fights, like you said, there wasn't much real beef. How's the training going to be reflected on it, knowing that you don't really like this girl?
So it's very difficult, in my opinion, to fight somebody that you like and to fight somebody that you genuinely respect, such as Whitney and Emily. With Brooklyn, it feels a lot easier to be able to switch into like dog mode and, just be like, this is it, I'm going for it. I don't give a fuck if I hurt you. I don't give a fuck if I smash your face to pieces. Whereas with the others, like, although it's boxing and it is the game, it sometimes is easy to get a little bit like almost conservative and maybe not throw as hard as you can. And like, I know that's possibly my wrongdoing, because obviously this is a combat sport, but I just personally find it difficult. But with Brooklyn, it's going to be easy because it's just so easy to switch on that, anger and just go for it. So I definitely think it's going to have a bigger impact on how I perform, because I'm going to go in there with a mission and, more, reason to really go for it, which I don't think I've had in any of my previous fights.
Because, I mean, it's been the last year since we've seen you in the ring, and obviously you're working with Franco's gym. Talk to me about that. Like, was the transition in going to Franco's gym after the Kingpin tournament, or have you always been with Franco's? Like, talk to me about how that's been for you.
No, so Rico is a new coach, so I haven't had a fight under Rico yet. So my previous coach, I left straight after the last Kingpin. I just didn't feel things were right between us. It felt very much on my end like he was there for himself rather than with me. During Dublin, he was very much using the spa every day and leaving me in my room, and like, just, I felt he was very much there for the experience for himself. And that kind of, I was in a really bad place the week of Dublin. I was so anxious and I didn't have my family or friends there. The only person I had was my coach, and I was kind of left to just deal with it myself in my hotel room. And that just led to me building up this anxiety. And I thought, I just felt like I should have been given a bit more support from the one person that is like my coach. And I didn't get that. So straight after the last Kingpin, I decided to train elsewhere. And my manager got me Rico. So I started training with Rico in August last year. And so it was about a month after the Kingpin tournament. And I've been with him ever since. And honestly, like, the difference in training is like worlds apart. I genuinely, when I step into the ring next week, I'm going to be a different breed of fighter. And I genuinely owe all of that to Rico, because anyone that's ever met Rico just knows that he's just a loose cannon, right? So he's just crazy. He loves to fight. He breathes fighting. And that really rubs off on like his or clients and his own fighters. So now I feel like I've got more of a will and a want to fight, because Rico had that, and he's always pushing that on you and inspiring. And so I just feel like the next time I step in the ring, my motivation, just my entire game plan is going to be so different, and I'm really excited for it, because this whole past, it will be nearly a year, it'll be 10 months that I've been with Rico when I get in the ring, and he really has trained me hard, and I train with him every day almost, and I just, yeah, I'm so excited for people to see what we've been working on, because the levels that we've gone up in that year are insane. So I'm just so ready to get in the ring.
It sounds like you're a brand new fighter, as far as like the amount of training you've had. You know, your new coach Rico as well. You know, big up to Rico to getting you in this position. I wanted to talk about the weigh-ins, because when we last spoke, your weigh-ins gone mad viral. Because it's still going viral now to this day. I mean, it's been talked about that you're potentially one of the most viral weigh-ins in boxing history. Is that right in me saying?
It is the most viral weigh-in in boxing history.
Crazy.
I think now it's sat, I mean, and this isn't even accurate. This is just the videos that I'm aware of. We're sat at about 500 million views. And like I say, that's the only ones I'm aware of. There's possibly more out there with, you know, more views that I don't know
from TikTok and other, you know, clips as well.
Yeah, YouTube, TikTok, Reels, Facebook, everything. I think it was only like a month ago or something, Eddie Hall shared it, and
wow,
it's still doing the rounds to this day. And I feel like it's going to be one of them videos that is just forever,
ongoing forever.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't get rid of you now. You're everywhere. You know, in a good way, that is, because obviously,
exactly,
that made it so crazy in a way where, you know, the way you put on the weigh-ins as well, the performance of the weigh-ins as well. I mean, I'm looking forward to next week's weigh-in, because I'm coming for that weigh-in, you know.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it too, because like I said, like the previous 2 fights I've had, we've been friends, so we've kind of spoke about what are we gonna do. This time we aren't friends, so there'll be no communication. So I don't know what she's gonna do. But in one of her like recent, I don't know if it was her last fight or just one of her previous fights, she like threw a chair at somebody. So I'm like, I could be on my A game, because I think things are gonna come flying at me. So I'm gonna have to be ready. But so this one's going to be a bit more unpredictable, because I genuinely don't know what's going to happen on her half. So yeah, it's definitely going to be one to tune in for, that's for sure.
Have you figured out your outfit for the weigh-in yet?
This is literally my job after this call. I did a Instagram question thing last night saying, what color would you like to see me in? And it was very tight between 3 options. So I just rooted through my wardrobe just now and got out all my possibilities for each color. And I've got them laid on my bed. So I'm going to take some photos in them and try and gauge which one I like the most. And then that will be the one. But yeah, that's actually my job today, is to decide on the weigh-in outfit.
Well, I mean, I'm anticipating what's going to happen when it comes to the weigh-in, because I know that's going to be another out there thing that's going to happen for the whole world to see. Just a few more things from me. Firstly, obviously, you know, you did some presenting for CFN. And also, like, you did some training recently with Anthony Taylor whilst you were out in Dubai recently.
Yes.
How was that experience, like the presenting and then doing the training with Anthony Taylor?
You know, I love presenting. As you can possibly tell, I talk for England, and I really enjoy just being on the microphone. And I really found something that I genuinely think I'm good at, and I could progress with maybe after the boxing, or maybe even after OnlyFans, like, because I do enjoy it. So yeah, that was a really fun experience. And just CFN as a brand, I've done 2 shows now, hosting with them in Dubai. Both of the shows have been done to such a high standard that I have so much. I'm so eager to see like what they're going to do in London, because the
Mm.
past two shows that they've done have been great, and I've been really grateful to be a part of both of them. But yeah, Isaac Taylor has been on the past two shows. So
Yes.
both times I've been in Dubai, Anthony Taylor has been there. And this time we were in the same hotel. So we were all getting together in an evening and, you know, doing some training. A lot of the guys were doing like jiu-jitsu and some bits like that. And he was like, I'm not going to try and do my American accent. He was like, yo, Amber, come here. Let's do some pads. So like we were doing some pads together, and we had like an hour maybe session. But yeah, he taught me some good stuff. We were just doing basics. Like he was doing footwork with me and stuff. But, you know, anything with Anthony Taylor is always good fun, isn't it? He's like the life of the party. So it'd be hard not to enjoy it. But yeah, it was fun. It was a really good experience.
And I got to touch on a few things regarding some of the women fights that have come up recently. Obviously, Elle Brooke versus Paige VanZant. I know that you commented on it recently on Twitter, but I mean, it ended up in a draw. I mean, what a moment for Elle Brooke to, you know, face up against a pro. You know, how did you see it from your end, like watching the fight?
I fully think a draw was fair. I think it was a very hard fight to match, to score. Sorry. I was so proud watching it, because obviously I'm friends with Elle, and watching her, you know, knock Paige down in round one. Like I didn't watch it live. I watched it in the morning because I was traveling to Italy on the day of her fight, and I was in bed at like 6 a.m. watching it, and it was like, it felt like I was fighting. Like I had so much anxiety for her because I just really wanted her to smash it. And she went out there, and then within like the first minute, she knocks her down.
When I saw that knockdown, I was like, just like everyone else in the crowd, I was like, whoa!
Yeah, same. I saw that video of Mams, and Mams is
like, I saw that. What a reaction!
I know, that was literally me as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was so proud of her, because what an achievement. I mean, she's only been boxing for what, 2 years, maybe less, maybe a little bit more. And it really is a testament to just how much, you know, work and effort she puts into training, because I wouldn't want to get in the ring with Paige VanZant, that's for sure. So it really is a testament to her, but she smashed it. I think a draw was fair. I think maybe obviously if she'd have got another knockdown, she'd have won it. Or if she wouldn't have had the knockdown, obviously Paige would have won it. But I think the draw was the best outcome, because now we get to see it all over again.
Yeah,
and
the
what
rematch.
a rematch that's going to be, because they both have something like extra to prove.
100%.
It's gonna. I just think this next rematch is going to be like so much better. So I think we got the best outcome there by getting the draw, because we are lucky enough to get to see it again.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing that, because that was a banger of a fight. I mean, speaking of which, for you, you know, obviously you're still on this journey in the boxing game. Obviously your next opponent is Brooklyn Barwick, but where do you want to take this to, as far as like, where's the pinnacle for you? Do you even have like ambitions to fight a pro like Elle Brooke has done?
Listen, once I get in the ring this weekend and I get a taste for a win, the possibilities of what I want to do are endless, because I haven't had a win yet. I don't even know what that feels like. And I just think once I get a taste for winning, it's gonna like alter my brain chemistry, and I'm just gonna be like, right, that's it now. I just want to fight. And I don't know what the future holds for me in boxing, but all I can say is this upcoming weekend is going to be a banger, and I'm really excited to just show what I've been working on and what I'm capable of when I have the right coaching and the right team backing me. So who knows? Maybe one day I might fight a pro. Right now, the thought of fighting a pro terrifies me. But like I say, I'll win this weekend, and I'll be like, right, Cyborg, come on, let me step up, get me in that ring. But she's fighting, isn't she? She's fighting at the weekend too, so What an honour that would be as well, getting to share the scene.
I was actually going to ask you briefly about that because I mean, Chris Cyborg to step in CFN against Arya Wild. I mean, MMA Grand Slam champion, Bellator, UFC, undefeated
Yeah.
in pro boxing. I mean, what a way to to make a statement for CFN London and the influencer boxing scene as a whole.
Absolutely. And I don't know much about Arya Wild. I don't know if she's fought before, if she has any like previous experience, but you have to take your hat off to her because there's not many people that would want to step in the ring with Chris Cyborg, and I know I definitely wouldn't want to. So, the best of luck to her. I hope she smashes it, but it's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting watch, I think, that fight, and I'm excited to see it.
And finally, then, you put out on Twitter last year that you had like a hit list of people that you would like to fight.
Yeah.
Has that hit list changed in any way? Is there any other? I mean, not looking past Brooklyn, but is there any other influencers that you want to update your hit list, so to say, or you just focused at the job at hand for now?
I can't actually even remember who was on it. I think it was like Alexia Grace, AJ Bunker, Astrid Wet. I can't remember the others. It's like Tash Weekender, I think. I would love a shot at the lightweight belt on Misfits.
Okay.
Who is currently held by Nikki Rue. Obviously Nikki Rue has also fought Brooklyn. So I think if I can when I go out this weekend and put on a show-stopping performance, I think it sets up a really great fight between me and Nikki because I'm hoping to end this fight in spectacular fashion, and Nikki wasn't able to do that. So I think if I can step in the ring with Brooklyn and make that finish come, I think it sets up a really great fight between me and Nikki. But who knows? Obviously, I've never fought on Misfits before, so asking for my first fight on Misfits to be a title shot might be a bit of a stretch. But maybe a bit further down the line, if she's still the belt holder when I get the chance to have my shot, then Nikki Rue. But Astrid Wet's always on the table, but she doesn't seem very game to fight anyone because where even is she? I've not even seen her in the scene for God knows how long, since the Prime card, I think. And obviously, I don't even think she fights on Misfits anymore. So I don't think she's game to fight anyone. So I'm just taking Astrid off the list for that reason, because hit list is going to actually be achievable. And if she's not going to want to fight anyone, then what's the point in having her stealing someone else's spot?
Well, I mean, who knows? I mean, should you win the CFN title next week? I mean, you teased about the idea of Nikki Rue per se, maybe title versus title. I mean, fantasy booking. I'm just saying, who knows? Who knows? Maybe.
I know. And there's also another belt within CFN that I'd love to fight for. Obviously, there's CFN and then there's CFN Off-Chain, which is this London, the ones that we're doing in the UK are the Off-Chain brand. So it is a little bit different from just CFN. So maybe at some point this year as well, I can also fight for the CFN belt, maybe in Dubai. So who knows? I don't know who I'd fight for it. I will leave that up to the matchmakers, but to be a double belt holder would be absolutely insane. So that's got to be something that I'd like to tick off my bucket list as well.
Well, I've seen, double champs in combat sports in general, and it'd be excited to see a two belt holder at some point. So finally, what have you got to say to your fans out there? Looking forward to your fight, and final message for Brooklyn.
So I've had two fights now that have not gone my way. Both of those fights were at middleweight. I'm now fighting as a lightweight, which is the weight that I always should have been at. And I just know that when I step into that ring this weekend, you're going to see an entirely different fighter within myself. So definitely tune in to watch, because I have a lot to prove and I'm going to prove it. And Brooklyn just needs to be ready, because, I don't think she hasn't ever fought in 10s. I don't even think she's ever fought in 12s. and she's definitely never going to have been punched as hard as what I can punch. So I hope she's been training her chin very, very hard. And that's about all I've got to say to Brooklyn.
Well, I'm looking forward to your return to the ring. It's long overdue, and obviously, you know, all the stuff you've been talking about, you know, with training with Rico and the build up to this. I'm certainly looking forward to how things will turn out for next week.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me and speaking with me. And we'll definitely get that game of pool at some point next weekend.
Yes, I mean, if we can find a pool table, I know we said it before, but it's got to be done. I'm surprised you even remember. I'm glad you brought it up because I need to have that competitive streak in me like brought out once again. So we'll sort that out.
Absolutely. Any place, any day, any time, you message me, I'm there.
That sounds like a promo. Let's do it. Let's do it.
It really does.
All right. Well, Amber, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. And I will see you at some point next week.
You absolutely will. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care. And I'll see you later.